So I'm back downtown. I tend to come here just about every day because it gives me this world of inspiration, and I think that's going to be a theme for today, being inspired as an artist and especially as a filmmaker. I recently had someone hit me up on Facebook asking me how I get inspired. For me, it's quite easy. I've learned to just observe and take things in and see them in a bit of a different light. So, for example, when you see this, you might think just graffiti, but what if this was communication between two people? What if this was this had specific meaning with the colors and even the lettering and the way it's done, and it communicated a certain message to people in the know? What is that group like? Why do they exist? How'd they come about? What's their backstory? Maybe it's communication between two lovers, even, or a friendship. It could be a number of things. Don't look at it as just wall art. It's simple like that. Simple things in my environment that I can create. Hey guys, so tonight was my first meeting with some of the cast for 30 Nods. I have 3 of them here with me. There's going to be a total of 7. We are still casting 2 roles. 2 other people had some conflicts, so one was here for a little bit, but she had to leave, and the other I just cast yesterday, so I didn't really expect her to be here. But I'm going to talk to each of them for a few minutes so you get to meet them, and they're going to tell you a little bit about their experiences and their character and kind of whatever they want to speak about as pertaining to 30 Nods.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan Stroud. I will be playing Burke, or Bird. I was abused as a child, and I am a very handsome and sexy, charming guy, so you kind of use that to compensate for what I went through, especially once I find a group of individuals that I feel I fit in with. And I'm a chef, so I kind of use that in cooking and pleasing other people to kind of build myself up from what I've been through. But to be quite honest, I'm addicted to heroin. Now, me as Ryan Stroud, I've never had any experiences nor know anything about any kind of drug. But this is going to be quite an experience for me. It's going to require me to go to a dark place, which, oddly enough, I'm excited about. But more importantly, it's going to teach me a lot. And that's what I like to do with each role. I like to learn something, learn more about drugs so I can know what not to do or what to stay away from and the symptoms of it, so I can know if I can help somebody who might be going through it and be able to educate my kids as why they shouldn't do it. But most importantly, I've played different kinds of characters that I would just be able to do a little bit of research on and just play. But this is going to really require a lot of thought, a lot of time, a lot of dedication. And I'll be honest, I'm more than likely going to have to pray myself out of it, pray that character out of it, all the quirks that are probably going to develop, all the little subtleties, the habits that are probably going to develop, and let's just hope my wife doesn't kick me out of the house if I get too far into character.
Well, if that happens, this is a safe place to go to talk about it. And if it even begins to come close, dude, we will help you exorcise those demons, because no one is gonna lose their freaking wife over this.
I appreciate it. But yeah, that's just the kind of person I am, and Craig is the kind of person you want to deliver for. You want to really just give it your all, because as we know, it's a job. You want to make the employer happy, and you want people to get something out of the project. This is going to be really big. It's going to be appreciated, and hopefully it's going to come across and, not just be entertainment, but more a message to people. And if it's anything that has to do with a message or educating someone, I'm all for it. So
One
be part of it.
one reason why 30 Nods is so dark and heavy is because we're not glorifying heroin at all.
Correct.
We're showing them how horrible of a drug it is and how horrible of a place you'll go to if you use it.
That's correct. That is
And
correct.
where there are some drug movies that I've personally enjoyed watching that kind of glorify it. Like Trainspotting glorifies it a little bit. Requiem for a Dream does not glorify it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of one reason why the film is going to be so dark
Yeah.
and heavy.
Yeah. For something to just show strictly the effects of it, what it takes you through, what it does to you, that's different. That's something that a lot of people won't be used to, because most films that include any kind of substance abuse or any kind of substance use, it glorifies the money that comes from it, that can be made from it. Makes people, a lot of people watching will say, hey man, maybe I should start dealing drugs or whatnot, or doing drugs. Definitely not what you want. Not a good message to put out when you're making a film about drugs, when you want to glorify the effects of it. And not to glorify them for good reasons, but to show what it can do to you, which is never a good thing. You know, in my opinion, those movies that glorify how much money it can make you, they don't show the effects. People who make money from it, they can't sleep at night peacefully. Just gotta stay away from it. But I can go on and on about why you shouldn't do drugs, but just watch the film and you'll see. And I'm pretty sure I'll learn even more why I shouldn't do drugs.
Yeah, you probably will.
Okay, so my name is Jake Tavarin, and I am playing a character named Raul. His character was raised in a very abusive household. He's the youngest of a number of children. His father was an alcoholic who used to come home and beat the children and his mother. And the children did witness often that he would take the mother into the other room and he would have his way with her sexually. He would rape her. The mother definitely grew an attachment towards Raul, being possibly the only male in the family that she was connected to, seeking some sort of a bond with a man that was not violently sexual. She did impose sexually upon Raul often. Now, out of her terms, as far as she was concerned, it was worthwhile and loving. Raul, of course, was a child and wasn't able to handle that very well. Through his sexual abuse and the abuse of his father, he definitely tried to fit into a lot of things in life, feeling very void and abandoned. He was very aggressive and angry because that was what he was taught from his father. Always kept himself very detached from people, but yet was very forceful about how he would get his attention. As everyone, I believe, with things that they're able to not connect or understand within their lives, he did seek into drugs, and this is where the journey begins. He is a heroin addict. He's come across a group of friends, and at this point, we're going to see where this character starts to develop. It's kind of a very passive-aggressive person.
Is there anything else you just want to add from your personal experience? Is there anything you want to share with our audience about you? Could be any just little antidote, whatever.
Well, I know, again, according to the character, that he's been living on his own since he was 16 and a half. So he's definitely very independent, very stubborn, very arrogant, I'm assuming. I'm just kind of trying to piece them together in my head to think about where someone like that would go. How I can relate to that, or at least give to that, is to say that I was also, I did live on my own since I was 17. A lot of the other situations did not happen to me. However, kind of the growth and the development, it gives me kind of an avenue to take down as far as where to base his character off of. It's going to be fun to explore and kind of learn some of the, I guess, idiosyncrasies of a heroin addict. I have experimented with a lot of different drugs, mostly only alcohol and marijuana. And I have been around people and I've seen them who have done harder drugs and have done heroin. They've been both functional and they've been completely out of it. So it's going to be fun, I think, and interesting to kind of be able to put myself into their shoes and really be able to empathically sort of take on a new character using some of the instances that I have in my own life and be able to building on top of those things and adding into a fantasy to really make this heroin addict come to life. And I really hope that I can capture this. This is going to be a really interesting project. Probably the biggest as far as involvement as well as acting. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be working with Craig and with the rest of this cast as we've met a little bit tonight. I guess that's really all I've got to say, unless you have any questions for me.
No, I think we're good. We'll bring in Nilu, and then we'll watch Requiem for a Dream.
We'll see you guys soon.
Hello everybody, my name is Nilu and I am playing Unknown Girl in 30 Nods. A little bit about me, I've known Craig for almost 20 years and I have always loved working together on projects, so here I am again, diving headfirst into this amazing project and this amazing ensemble cast. Unknown Girl is just a culmination of a lot of things for me that I relate to, as far as not identifying with a name or being somebody on the outskirts. I've always found that to be challenging. I've always wanted to be so involved. So for me, it was really desirable to play a character who was able to just get totally lost in her demons and let them just consume her and see where that takes us. And it's going to be an interesting journey. I'm excited to have this experience of transmedia creativity and work with all these amazing actors who can kind of come together and create this beautiful project, and we hope that it'll play out on screen for everyone.
Why don't you tell the audience a little bit more about Unknown Girl, her family life, what she was like, so they get to know about her character.
Unknown Girl comes from a rough place as far as her family life. She was sexually abused on multiple occasions by people, men in particular she trusted. And so it's difficult for her to place trust in the right people at this time. She turns to drugs because she needs to numb herself from all the things that she's feeling and cannot deal with. And I think that this group of friends that she finds help her to really just shed a lot of the pain that she's feeling. They just help her snuff it out, really. And she takes to them so quickly because they kind of take care of her when she needs it, and she just ends up melting into their world, really, and becoming a part of this group, this very dysfunctional but like amazing family, whose main thread in common is heroin, and it's a really dark place, but there's a family nonetheless.
Yeah. Heroin for this group is kind of like the island on Lost. It's something everybody is struggling with. They're struggling to understand it. They're struggling to get off of it. They're struggling to just be lost in that world. So I think that's the perfect metaphor, heroin and the island in Lost.
Yeah, and it's a mystery, I think. You know, I think all of us are confounded by our addiction. We never thought that we would go this far. I mean, you can't possibly imagine that you'll be an addict, you know, on the verge of ODing. You never really aspire to that. And so I think this rabbit hole has kind of just sucked all of us in, and we don't necessarily know how to get out. Unknown Girl especially. It's kind of a dark place.
She's totally lost in it. Thank you.
film.